Hello and welcome to Granada Reports, live with the latest news across the northwest.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for joining us. Here's tonight's headlines.
A hero's farewell. Hundreds turn out to pay their respects at the funeral of Joe Thompson. The footballer won plaudits for his fundraising while undergoing cancer treatment.
He was our ultimate teammate and will remain so. Joe stood for all the principles through life and through his fight in life.
Described as a gentle giant, Fintan's life was ended when he was knifed 71 times in his own home. We'll have the latest from court.
They've blended perfectly into the family and I just could not imagine my life without them.
The Liverpool foster mum who's encouraging others to help look after some of the Northwest's many children in care.
Hi, I'm Ruby Wax, and I'm introducing the first ever Feeling Ceiling at the Printworks in Manchester, and we'll be talking about it later in the programme.
And one of our sunniest springs so far is about to deliver even more blue sky. I'll have your latest forecast.
So please stay with us for all of that. First, though, to the hundreds of funeral goers who said a last goodbye to hero footballer Joe Thompson.
Joe died last month at the age of 36 after being diagnosed with cancer for a third time. His football career started at Manchester United and ended at Rochdale, where he became a legend, not just for his skill on the pitch, but also his fundraising off it.
Today, both those clubs were there to pay respects alongside Joe's former teammates and crowds of supporters too. Jennifer Buck reports.
The final journey for Joe Thompson. Under the careful gaze of his wife and children. After filling the terraces for years, today was an open invitation for friends, family and fans to come and celebrate his life. They came in their hundreds to fill the pews and spill out into the shady churchyard to watch the service on big screens. It was a service that Joe helped to plan, and his voice was heard throughout.
You know, football is your life, but there's more to life than football.
Lula, Joe's 12-year-old daughter, spoke during the service of their special bond.
But it's your time to have the rest you deserve. Thank you so much for being my best friend, and you always will be for eternity. You'll be watching over us every single day, and we know what a magical place you're in now.
Friends from his time at Manchester United and Rochdale were part of the 400-strong congregation inside, with hundreds more watching outside.
The turnout just shows you the reach of the man that is and was. Fantastic human being. People here from all walks of life.
I think you only have to look at the turnout. I think it's been fantastic for him and his family, and as they've said, they want to celebrate his life in style because he was a brilliant character, fantastic guy, unbelievable person, and yeah, he'd be sadly missed.
Joe was everything. He was our ultimate teammate and will remain so. Joe stood for all the principles through life and through his fight in life, and how he converted his fight to happiness and enjoying the journey.
Joe's passion of enjoying the journey earned him respect both on and off the pitch. Today, his past and present all came together to pay their respects and share their memories.
Joe came to St Cuthbertson in Rochdale, where I was a PE teacher. Obviously, he played for the football team. Always conducted himself really, really well. Always had a smile on his face.
I ran the community trust at Rochdale and met for many years, and we saw Joe when he was at a local school, St Vincent's Primary School, and we wanted to get him to come down to Rochdale, but at the time he was going to United. So many years later, obviously, he came back to Rochdale.
In Joe's words, he achieved everything his heart desired, and as white doves were released, his family and friends celebrate a life well lived and a man well loved. Jennifer Buck, ITV News in Salford.
Yeah, great turnout for Joe today.
Yeah, beautiful words for a remarkable man.
Well, next to Manchester Crown Court, where a convicted murderer is accused of entering the home of a relative and stabbing him multiple times.
Diarys Roach admits killing 64-year-old Fintan McDwyer in Manchester last June, but states he was acting in self-defence with a simultaneous loss of control.
Fintan, who was known as Vinny to his neighbours in Fallowfield, was described as a gentle giant, often seen walking his dog in the area.
Anna Yosef's following the trial and is at court tonight. Anna.
Yes, Rob, this trial is now in its second week. The jury has already been shown CCTV of Diarys Roach, dressed in black, wearing a balaclava, approaching the home of Fintan McDwyer. We now know that he climbed through the first floor bedroom window of Mr McDwyer and stabbed him 71 times. The two men were related. Mr McDwyer was Roach's great uncle. The prosecution say that Roach told the police that he'd only been intending to steal the other man's dog, which was named after his dead mother, but he'd acted in self-defence and, quote, a simultaneous loss of control after Mr McDwyer had produced a knife and started talking about how he'd sexually abused him when he was a child. DNA evidence led to the 30-year-old being arrested a week later. He told police he had absolutely no recollection of stabbing his great-uncle. Mr McDwyer, a father and a grandfather, was described in the family tribute as a gentle giant. Today, the jury was told that he had no arrest record and that there had never been any allegations of him sexually assaulting anyone. They also heard that the first time Roach had mentioned being sexually abused by his great-uncle was just months after he was arrested.
And Anna, I believe the jury were also told about Roach's previous conviction.
That's right, Katie. They now know that he is a convicted murderer. When he was 16 in 2011, he stabbed to death a 23-year-old man in the street. He was ordered to serve a minimum of 12 years. Now, we were told that while he was in prison, he actually gained a degree in psychology. But the court heard that when he was on day release in May 2023, he was found in possession of a lock knife in his bag. Despite that, he was released in September of that year. Just a year later, he would go on to kill again. Roach denies murder and an alternate charge of manslaughter, and the trial continues here tomorrow at Manchester Crown Court.
Anna, thanks so much.
Two other stories making the headlines tonight. And a woman's appeared in court charged with child abduction after allegedly attempting to walk away with a baby in a pram on Blackpool Promenade. Police say the child's parents and members of the public intervened on Central Drive on Saturday morning. Nicolette Goldrick, who's 51, is also charged with police assault. She'll next appear at Preston Crown Court in June.
The group of Reform UK councillors who now control Lancashire County Council have elected their leader. Stephen Atkinson is no stranger to local politics. As a former Conservative leader of Ribble Valley Borough Council, the party's win has seen it secure the largest single-party majority in Lancashire in modern times. Councillor Atkinson is now likely to become leader of the County Council when it meets on the 22nd of May.
Too few foster carers means too few safe homes for youngsters who need them, according to foster agencies who say there's a significant shortage of carers.
Yeah, in every corner of our region, more are needed. In fact, up to 1,200 people are required to come forward and make a life-changing difference in children's lives.
Low numbers of foster carers can mean sibling groups are more likely to be split up when they enter care and that children are being placed far away from their communities.
Well, today is the start of Foster Care Fortnight, so a great opportunity to shine the light on the rewards of fostering. And earlier we were joined by foster carer Leslie Cormack and David Dimitri-Smith from By the Bridge, a leading fostering provider. And we started by asking Leslie about her fostering journey.
I started in 2018 and as soon as I got through, I got my placement almost immediately. Who's still in placement now because I'm a long-term foster carer. So a year after my first placement, I took my second placement on. So I've got two boys now, which I've had since 2018, 2019.
And what's, for you, the most rewarding aspect of being a foster carer?
There's so many. But for me, I think just seeing the growth, just seeing how far they've come, the difference from when I met them to what they are now is unreal. They've blended perfectly into the family, and I just could not imagine my life without them.
Oh, that's so lovely to hear. I mean, David, how dire is the situation at the moment? How many carers do you need?
So at the moment we're in massive need for new carers. Government statistic-wise, we've looked at the past 3 years. There's been a steady decline in foster family numbers. 2021 there was roughly about 45,500. That's reduced to 42,500 as of April last year. So that's a reduction in 3,000. Particularly in the northwest, there was a 4% reduction in foster families last year alone. So yeah, we're in real need of foster families at the moment.
And there are people who've wanted to do it but have run up against barriers. You don't have enough rooms, you're single, all sorts of things come up. What are their barriers? How do we get them gone?
We have a fantastic recruitment team who are at the end of the phone. Any questions that you've got, if you're single, if you work part-time, if you've got your own kids, depending on where you live, we're open to having those conversations to make sure that is fostering right for you, and can we help you with that journey to become a foster carer?
That must be a different scenario between each council, mustn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So we're an independent fostering agency. We have some foster carers who come to us from local authorities. At By the Bridge we have a really good support package, which is one of the main reasons why carers come to us. So we have, foster families have a dedicated supervising social worker. We have an out-of-hours team, so 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. You can always speak to somebody. We have therapists, education workers, family support workers. So we really have a strong support package for foster carers like Leslie.
And Leslie, what would you say to anyone watching this who's thinking, well, maybe I might like to do this, I'm not sure?
Okay, so I think a lot of people have approached me in the past with me being a single carer. I've thought, you know, it wasn't for them being single, and you know, what if there's problems along the way? So as David said, there is so much support, and there is a whole team around you to help you through the difficult times. And I would, hand on my heart, say if you're feeling it, do it, 100%.
And David, it is Foster Care Fortnight, isn't it? So if people are interested, where can they find out more information?
So you can go to our website, which is www.bythebridge.co.uk. And like I said, there's inquiry forms, there's telephone numbers, and somebody from our recruitment team will happily take any calls to answer any questions.
Well, Leslie, David, thank you both for coming in tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure it's really challenging at times, but also so rewarding.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, let's get a look at what's to come on the ITV Evening News. Here's Mary.
Coming up, the Prime Minister says the UK risks becoming an island of strangers as the government unveiled proposed changes to limit legal immigration. The stricter visa requirements include lengthening the path to citizenship, increased English language requirements, and cutting overseas recruitment for social care. The sex trafficking trial of the rapper and record executive Sean Diddy Combs begins in New York. And the inventor bringing Wallace's quirky creations to life. Well, do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Now, there's an inventor doing good work. Doing good work, we like that.
Now, we are talking about our feelings, and we're talking about them with the comedian and TV personality Ruby Wax.
She's been in showbiz for more than 50 years, but she says the highlight of her entire career was a simple mindfulness course.
Yeah, she told our entertainment correspondent Caroline Whitmore that mindfulness changed her life for the better and helped her tackle mental health issues, including depression and bipolar disorder.
And that's the reason she was in Manchester, as the city's Printworks became the iconic setting for Ruby's Feeling Ceiling. Here's Caroline to explain more.
Got Ruby Wax here reviewing the Feeling Ceiling on Europe's largest digital ceiling. So what it is, we're trying to get everyone, the people of Manchester, together to talk all about mental health, because it's Mental Health Awareness Week.
1 in 4 people suffer from some sort of mental illness. So if it was 1, 2, 3, 4, it's you, sir, you.
Well, it's not every day I come to the Printworks in Manchester and see you, Ruby Wax.
In the flesh.
In the flesh?
Yeah.
There's a special fancy ceiling now, isn't there? Explain all about it.
Well, it's reflecting what the weather is like inside of you, because I run a charity called Frazzled, and I've had it for 7 years. And what we do is we have meetings. We begin the meeting saying, what's the weather condition like inside of you today? People start to say, well, it's rainy, I'm frazzled, I got brain fog. And once they start that, they'll start to say why.
I was really inspired by Ruby's use of weather as an analogy for our emotions, and I wanted to find a way to bring that to life for the public in a way that will stop people in their tracks. The ceiling here covers the entire venue and make it look like they're looking at the sky above them.
People are talking about their mental health more than they ever did, back in the day.
Oh, totally. I mean, people, with such a thing of shame.
You did a mindfulness course, didn't you? What made you want to do the mindfulness course?
Well, I need to get my brain fog down and my stress down.
You've been in this Business Week show for over 50 years. What is your...
Have I?
Yeah, I think so. I think you have.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What's my secret?
Well, I was going to say what your secret is and what's been your highlight?
My highlight is going to Oxford to learn mindfulness, because that made you have a little dignity.
Yeah.
Show business is not so... When I'm older, even older, and wearing a nappy, I'd like people to say, you really helped me, rather than that was funny.
How was your life before the mindfulness course then?
A wreck. I mean, you were nervous all the time, and you thought, oh, my fame's slipping away, because it's very addictive, and so you grab it back. But you never get satisfied. You can always look for outside stuff to feed your ego, but it's never enough.
How does a feeling ceiling work then, Ruby?
So they can be stormy, sunny, foggy, gloomy, rainy, and it shows.
What's the weather in your head doing today?
And then you look at the ceiling.
Oh.
There.
And then it'll come up in a minute?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it gets it out of you. So what's the weather condition like in your head today?
I think I'm constantly a bit foggy because I've got that much going on.
All right, so you push
I'm
foggy.
going to put foggy, yeah.
All right, and then it'll be reflected in the ceiling.
The ceiling.
Isn't that...
Oh, can we end on sunny, though, and then it's a nice bright thing?
Okay,
yeah.
We'll end on sunny, but first, there it is.
There it is. You're like a magician. Look at that.
I know. Brain fog.
With the feeling ceiling.
Yeah.
At the Printworks Manchester.
Yeah. Come on over. Well, we might be gone by then, but you can see the ceiling.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
That's brilliant, isn't it? Always foggy in your mind. I know that feeling. I really do.
Mine would just say hungry, I think. Always hungry at this time of night. Well, if that's piqued your interest in ITV, then ITV has a wellness initiative with lots of tips, and you can just Google search Britain Get Talking.
Time for sport now, and Ruben Amorim suggests he might have to leave Man United if things don't improve. Here's Mike.
Yeah, this wasn't a throwaway line. He said it more than once after yesterday's defeat to West Ham. Of course, he's not going anywhere anytime soon and could yet win the Europa League in a week's time. But he did say if things don't improve next season, then somebody else might need to take the reins.
For me, the biggest concern is that feeling that is okay. We cannot change our position so much, so it's okay. And that is the biggest problem in our club in this moment, because we are losing the feeling of we are a massive club and it is the end of the world to lose a game at home. We will not have a next season like this if we start like this, or if the feeling is still here, we should give the space to different persons.
Liverpool's manager Arne Slot defended supporters' rights to express their opinion after Trent Alexander-Arnold was booed at Anfield.
It's to live in Europe where everybody can have his own opinion and everybody can express his own opinion. And that is something that we saw today as well. So a few of them were not happy with him. I think all of them were not happy with him leaving the club, but a few of them showed it in a way that they booed him and a few of them clapped.
So of course, we missed a good opportunity. Today winning, we know that you have 3 games, 1 FA Cup, 2 games, and until the last, like I didn't expect differently from a month ago, that is fight until the end.
Stockport County's League One playoff semi-final against Leyton Orient is finally poised. They drew 2-2 in the first leg, but Stockport will crucially have home advantage for the second leg on Wednesday evening. The winners of that tie will head to Wembley for the chance to win promotion to the Championship. Now, it's a huge week for Manchester United's women, who are also off to Wembley for the FA Cup final. They wrapped up the Super League season on Saturday, losing 4-3 away to Arsenal, a result which means they finished third in the table. They faced Chelsea at Wembley on Sunday. The champions beat 7th placed Liverpool 1-0 in their final league game. Manchester City finished 4th in the table. They beat Crystal Palace 5-2, while Everton drew 1-1 at home to Spurs, and they finish in 8th. To Rugby League, and Warrington Wolves will take on Hull Kingston Rovers in this year's Challenge Cup final at Wembley. The 9-time winners of the competition beat local rivals Lee Leopards in the semi-finals. By 21 points to 14, they head to Wembley on June the 7th. The Women's Challenge Cup final will take place at the same venue on the same day, and it will be an all-North West affair. Wigan Warriors, who beat Leeds in the semis, will take on their old rival St Helens in that match. Saints beat York in their semi-final. And finally, to the Speedway star hoping to make history tonight. Dan Bewley of Manchester's Bellevue Aces races in the British Championship final tonight, looking to win the title for a 4th successive year. It would equal Barry Briggs' record, which was set way back in 1967. The action takes place on Dan's home track in Manchester later tonight. And we wish him well. That's your sport, guys.
Thank you, Mike.
Well, finally tonight, we're meeting the psychologist who claims John Lennon and Paul McCartney were writing love songs to each other.
Ian Leslie's written a hit new book about the two Beatles, offering insight into their platonic but often emotional partnership.
Well, our Merseyside correspondent Andy Bonner's been speaking to Ian for ITVX, and here's a sneak preview of their conversation.
There have been 1 or 2 books over the years written about the Beatles. What makes this different?
Well, I have read a lot of those books because I've been a Beatles fan since I was about 7 years old. And I'm obsessed, frankly. But I didn't think that any of the books really investigated the central relationship of the group between John Lennon and Paul McCartney to the extent that I wanted to find out about it, which is, I think it's inexhaustibly fascinating. You know, these two guys, they come together, they have this incredible chemistry, and out of this chemistry comes the Beatles and this whole kind of explosion of creativity. So it's called a love story in songs for a reason. You know, I'm telling the story of this relationship through the songs.
So it's almost like a marriage between John and Paul?
Yeah, it's kind of like a marriage. It's kind of like a love affair. It was very kind of intense. There were it was very emotional. It was conflicted, it was jealousy ridden, and it was loving. Unless you kind of recognize the intensity and the depth and the richness of that relationship, you don't actually understand the music as much as you might do, right?
Tell me what you did discover.
They weren't guys who kind of sat down and talked through their feelings or their emotions about each other. They weren't of that generation. But they were very emotional guys and they were very sensitive guys. So what do they do with those feelings? They pour them into the lyrics and the songs.
Yeah, it's absolutely intriguing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah, well, you can find more of that interview on our streaming service. That's ITVX, where there's lots and lots of Granada content from all around the Northwest. Just head over there to the news category and then obviously select us, Granada.
Absolutely. Some really good stuff on there. You should go and have a gander. Now, the sun is still shining tonight. Is it going to carry on like that for the rest of the week? Let's find out what the forecast holds. Here's Nick.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello, very warm day today, temperature near 26 at Blackpool. Plenty of sunny spells around, though we have seen cloud building with a few showers and thunderstorms to end the day. If it's your rain you're after, then hopefully you're going to get something out of those. But for the rest of the week, we are looking dry. Plenty of sunshine in the forecast and warmth again, though not quite as warm as it's been today. Low pressure giving us the chance of late day showers and thunderstorms clearing away. And no surprise to find high pressure building in behind it, settling things down once again, and that's why we're not seeing any rain in the forecast again until perhaps towards the end of next week. Bear in mind, still a Met Office weather warning for a few more hours this evening across parts of Cheshire for that potential for thundery downpours. They will clear away and the rest of the night is looking dry. Perhaps the odd patch of mist and fog. Temperatures holding up into double figures, 14 degrees on the Isle of Man, so it will be a mild start to the day tomorrow. And your sun times, sunrise after 5 o'clock in the morning and after 9 o'clock at night now for your sunset. So into tomorrow, and there'll be plenty of that sunshine to come, the odd mist and fog patch soon clearing away. Other than that, though, it's blue sky all the way, none of that patchy, thundery cloud building that we had today. And temperatures, although a little bit down compared with today, there'll still be some warmth to be had into the low 20s with that easterly breeze, high UV. It is strong sunshine and quickly moving through the night and into Wednesday. We'll do it all again, more in the way of sunshine, though perhaps by Wednesday a tad cooler. We can't rule out a little bit of low cloud and mistiness here and there as the week goes on, but on the whole we are set fair, plenty of sunshine, none of that rain coming back for now.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Making the most of summer. Piri sponsors ITV pollen count.
The tree pollen season is now winding down. We're waiting for the grass pollen season really to kick in. So the good news is that pollen levels are going to be on the way down as we go through the rest of this week. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you, Nick. I tell you, it's not often you see 5 suns on the forecast ahead. Oh,
to book the week off.
Absolutely. Go and sit in the garden. That is it for Granada Reports this evening.
Yeah, tomorrow night we've got a Manchester actor who's starring in a new gripping ITV series called Code of Silence, so you don't want to miss that.
Yeah, we shall tell you all about it. The late news is after news at 10, but for now, from the whole team across the North West, thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.